Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your December 1st through 15th soul session. I am Marlo, if you're new. And if you're family, welcome back, my friends and whatnot, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, anywho, all right, let's go ahead and jump into your cards and see what is popping for you all for the month of December 1st through 15th. So, not the whole month. The other half is on the membership platforms. Anyway, first card out. Let's see if autofocus likes me. It doesn't. It hates me. It hates me a lot, Capricorn. I don't know what I ever did to deserve the way that my autofocus treats me, but it's just wrong. You just gonna have to trust me on this somehow. Okay, the Lovers in the reverse, that's Gemini energy. So there's a choice that needs to be made here. Okay, this is weird that this is even going in this direction. Okay, there's a choice that needs to be made here. I don't want to necessarily say that you're refusing to make it, but I just feel like it's ill-informed decision making. So it's more or less there's something that is in alignment with you, Cap, that doesn't quite look like it is, but it feels to me on a surface level. This is so weird how these soul sessions are coming out so far. On a surface level, this thing doesn't seem as if it resonates with you. However, it does on a soul level. This is about to get so deep. Okay. There is something in your life, a person, situation, circumstance, what have you. On the surface, it does not look like it resonates with you, but on a soul level, it does. And the thing that is stopping you from choosing in accordance with this thing on a soul level is because you're too entrapped into what it looks like on the outside, right? Which says to me a whole deeper thing, because now we're really talking about, you know, sensory consciousness versus higher consciousness. So that's really a war and a battle that's going on here. So the decisions that are being made are being heavily influenced by superficiality, if we could say it that way, and sensory consciousness, because it's almost like a rejection of this thing, right? Like the reason why you're really rejecting it, like you're telling yourself, like, okay, let me put it in this terminology. Like, okay, so most of us are familiar with the Doreen Virtue romance angels, right? And they have the card that your soulmate may differ from your usual type, right? Now, your soulmate, right, a mate for the soul, may differ from your usual type in the sense of meaning externally, right? They're not going to look or be like the type of person that you may typically be attracted to, but they resonate with you on a soul level, right? That's very much the vibe I'm getting from this Lovers in the reverse. But the thing that I'm being compelled to say in reference to this is the reason for the rejection or not choosing to go in this particular direction is specifically because there's a rejection of the self on a soul level. You feel what I'm saying? So the reason why you're kind of appalled by or repulsed by or like of with this particular thing person, I hope it's not a Gemini person. I think Geminis are rather dope, but anyway. But and the thing that's interesting with this, I'm looking at the tattoo on the chick's arm, and it's a bow and arrow. And of course, this is a Gemini card, but the opposite sign of Gemini is Sagittarius. And I did Sagittarius before you guys were in Sagittarius season. You know what I'm saying? And it may behoove you to watch Sag. And I say that because with it being Sag season, that's a collective reading. But the vibe I'm getting from this is like, regardless if you have Capricorn or Sag in your chart or not, it's almost like Capricorn is operating out of the shadow aspects of Sag. And I think it would help you out a lot. I mean, you can Google the shadow aspects of a Sagittarius, but we're in Sag season, so it's very easy to kind of tap into that. And in Sag's reading, I spoke about them facing shadow aspects and projecting and things of the sort. You know what I'm saying? So sorry to interrupt you guys while you're listening to the show, but I wanted to tell you guys about our new partnership with BetterHelp. If you haven't heard of them, it's an online resource in which you can find your very own friendly local neighborhood therapist, no matter where you are in the world. You sign up, and within 24 hours, they match you with a therapist that's right for you. And you can talk to your counselor every week via phone or video chat. You can also text them between sessions. If you or someone you know has been considering therapy, get started today with BetterHelp. Now let's get back to the show. And I don't even know why we're even going this route, but literally, whether you have Capricorn, Gemini, Sag in your chart, if there's any planets in your chart, specifically like Mars or like Pluto, Uranus, let's see, Pluto, Uranus, or your Mars, your Saturn, anything like that, if those are in retrograde, I mean, if any of the planets are in your chart are in retrograde, it's a tendency to where you can, depending on where your sign placements are, like how far your, I love how these are going. I love how this is just like a whole teaching lesson. Depending on how far, like the sign that particular planet, like what sign is in that, what sign the planet is in your chart, right? Depending on how many spaces that is from your sun sign, like whatever your sun sign is, however many spaces in your chart the sign that one of those planets is in, if it's like, you know, like 6 of them, if it's like 6 signs away, that's when you're falling into the, and it's funny, this is a 6 card, but that's when you're falling into the energy of easily projecting the elements of that planet. You know what I'm saying? So you have to kind of be aware of that. I know not everyone is like privy to like their birth chart, but you know, just hear me out on that one, because that can kind of give you insight as to how it is that you guys could be projecting onto other people. But that's literally your energy coming out of November into December. So whatever it is that you guys have been kind of weighing on or trying to make a decision about coming into the month of December, and this is like the same energy that was coming in with Sag, be aware of the fact that there's a level of self rejection and a little bit of projection in reference to a decision that you guys are pondering on. That's so funny. Coming into this month. Now, the next card that we have out, holy mother. All right, major arcanas galore, and my autofocus is still hating my guts. Why does my autofocus hate me so much, y'all? Make it make sense. Okay, I almost had it for 2.5 seconds. Whatever, you just have to trust me, Capricorn. Anyway, we have the Star in the reverse, that's Aquarius energy. Next card we have is the 7 of Pentacles. And then we have the Tower in the reverse, and that is Scorpio energy. So here is the thing. It still feels like a kind of testing ground for you guys as well, because once again, making this decision with this Tower in the reverse falling underneath the Lovers in the reverse, how it is that you're coming in with you rejecting this thing or not making a choice in alignment with this particular thing or person, you know what I'm saying? It's because you're attempting to avoid a disaster. But once again, that still goes back to what I was saying before, is consciously in your sensory consciousness, you think that you're avoiding a disaster, because I feel intuitively, you know, that if you were to choose in accordance with said thing, right, that it would create a Tower in your life. And the Tower would be a good one, because the Tower is always good. And it would provoke like a transformation. But I feel there's like a war going on inside of Caps, where there's a part of your old mindset or your old system, your old lifestyle, your old way of being that I feel like you guys aren't ready to let go of. So that's what I'm saying. It's like what we're really talking about here is a fight going on between higher consciousness and sensory consciousness, right? So, in your sensory consciousness is like the consciousness that you've been conditioned into since you got into a body. So there's like a call on your life at present for you to ascend to a higher state of being, a higher level of consciousness, or what the star card would represent upright, with you aligning with your soul and your truth, like who it is you really are, your higher self, and all of the things. But the war is between who you identify as a human and who you really are on a soul level. So whatever this person or thing is that's in your life right now, it's you making a decision between your false self and your real self, and this person is just acting as a representation of this war that's happening inside of you. I know this is wild magnolia, okay, but this is tarot therapy. And it be like this sometimes. It's tripping me out how esoteric these freaking like soul sessions are so far, but rightfully so. We're going into the year of karma, at the end of this month. So, you know what I'm saying? So, anywho, it's so it's like it this reminds me so much of what I was saying in Sag. It's like a light and shadow aspect war that's happening, but it's just you having a player that's kind of acting as a catalyst in this thing that's really happening inside yourself. This is so fascinating. But with this Seven of Pentacles, it's more or less you guys like trying to wait things out to get clear on stuff, because I feel this decision you guys are trying to make, it's something you've been pondering on for some time now. Okay, like I don't feel like this is anything new. So you guys are in the same kind of time warp that I learned about from the channeled message that I got yesterday before I started recording these. And I found out there's like a trine between Saturn and Mars, right? And with this trine that's happening, there's this desire to move forward, but everything in your waking life is preventing that from happening, which is where we get this energy of the Seven of Pentacles. So it's more or less waiting for things to germinate and grow, and for you to see the byproduct of, time, energy, and effort that you've put into things, and being very protective over that and not wanting something to happen to it. But it's ill-guided and misinformed, right? Because I feel the reason why and this is just so interesting to me how this happens, but the reason why you guys aren't choosing in accordance with what resonates with you on a soul level is because you look at that thing as a danger to what it is that you've built. And that makes sense. So if I were to give you like a mundane example of this would be like someone like, I've gone to therapy and I've worked on my mental health and I love myself now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I've put all of this work into myself. And then you meet this person, right? That, seems like a pretty dope person, but it's like you're rejecting the person and pushing the person off and refuse to date them because you feel like this person could be a threat to your mental health, not because they literally did anything now. But it's just because you're like, I'm on a journey of self-love right now, and this person is coming in and trying to love me, and that doesn't fit the picture of what it is that I see for my life, because stuff like that don't happen fast, which would be a false core belief. You feel what I'm saying? So it's more or less fear-driven, and it puts you into scarcity complex, like hashtag like Four of Pentacles type of energy, to where you're desperately trying to hold on to what it is that you have. And that kind of puts you into an unbalanced energy to where there could be something that's coming in as a blessing, but you're seeing it as a curse and inadvertently stagnating yourself, which would be why you're sitting here at the Seven of Pentacles waiting for this goddamn, tree to germinate, and it never does, right? Because you're in a scarcity complex and you're self-protecting, and that's tricky territory, because it's not to say to just like throw yourself head first into things, but I feel like this would be a message for someone where if you have to think too hard listening to this, then this ain't your soul session, babe, because I feel this is a very tricky message, to where I say, even as a spiritual teacher, it's like you have to tread lightly with stuff like this, because this is a conversation I would have with someone where, you know, they come tell me a dream or something, and I'm hearing the words behind the words and discerning the transitional place this person is in their journey, and I'm able to guide them through that. So with this being like a general reading type of deal, it's like this would be something where you're picking up where I'm putting down. If you have to think too hard to see where, like how do I know that this is in alignment on a soul level or not, and it's making your brain hurt, then it ain't your message, child. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm saying with this, it would resonate in your heart space to where you're like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense to me, type of deal. Next card that we have, okay, we have the Ace of Cups in the reverse. So yeah, dude, it's being emotionally unfulfilled. Now, mind you, we're talking about the first 2 weeks of December, right? So now we're getting into this week of the 15th. So what we're looking at, you guys are coming in with this decision that I don't feel this is nothing new. This may be something y'all were dealing with all the freaking goddamn November. But it's just the thing of really looking at what's rising up for you, right? Because I feel with the self-protective type of energy, I feel like you guys have a positive outlook for the future, but you're not happy now. And that's something I always forewarn people about too, is like peace should be now, happiness should be now, fulfillment should be now, because it does not exist in some other place other than now. If you're under the ill-guided perception that somehow you need to get to a certain place and like protect yourself and like panic and whatever, in order for you to get to some certain space for you to be safe or happy, that's never going to be. You feel what I'm saying? And also the other vibe I'm getting with this too, because I don't know if this is time sensitive, Capricorn. Okay, my guys just corrected me. It is. Whatever this is time sensitive, but I feel like Capricorns feel that it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like the perception that I think Caps would have is I have all of the time in the world. And it's kind of looking at it like, if it's for me, then it shall be for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, spirit would not allow something that is supposed to be on my path to not be there. And it's like, yeah and no. You know what I'm saying? Spirit wants for you what you want for you. But if you make a decision, it's kind of like if you got offered a job and they told you that we need an answer by Friday, and you're in this energy of the Lovers in the reverse where it's like, this isn't, I didn't want an office like this. I didn't want it to be located here, you know? And it's like, yeah, I got to give an answer by Friday. So you're kind of waiting it out and waiting for something to manifest itself to you to show you what it is you should say by Friday. And then Friday comes and goes because you don't want to say that you want the job and make the wrong decision. And then you don't want to reject the job and make the wrong decision, right? So you're kind of waiting for some type of divine intervention to happen. So you never call the people back on Friday, right? Because you're waiting for some sort of divine intervention, you know, because you want to avoid a disaster. But by, you know, coming into the 15th of the month with the Ace of Cups in the reverse, you would be morbidly disappointed because it wouldn't work out the way that you hoped. So there's a little bit of naivete that I see with this. And yet again, I work with a lot of people, you guys, on lots of different levels of this awakening journey. And this is a stage in the awakening journey that I have seen buku times. This is a normal place to be, but it's kind of when it's not fully understanding how speaking things into existence and manifesting and things of the sort really works. You know what I'm saying? And it inadvertently becomes a little self-sabotatory, but it's like self-sabotage masquerading as like manifestation. You feel what I'm saying? And I really feel with this is kind of like a key that unlocks a deeper way of being for you all, where how could I say this? A deeper way of being that would open you up to a higher awareness to be able to see like how it is that you're rejecting yourself in other areas of your life or in different people in your life. And the next card that we have is the Four of Wands in the reverse. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest. With these, I'm always looking at this from like a personal development sense, but I can't ignore the fact for me that this feels like it's talking about a romantical type of situation. It really does. It feels to me either a specific person that you guys are dealing with, or trying to make a decision about, or it would be about like dating in general. You feel what I'm saying? So it's either a particular person that you guys have been on the fence about, or it's dating in general. And it feels like, and I mean, I can see how this could be like friendship and stuff too, in the sense of like being on the fence on if you want to fraternize with other people, because it's this thought of protecting your journey. And I get it, because like I said, this is a normal stage in the awakening process where, you know, you get spiritually aware, you go to therapy or whatever, but you feel so protective over the growth that you've accomplished or the insight that you've accomplished that you start perceiving everything outside of you as kind of like a danger to your mental health or your self-love or your spiritual awareness. You know what I'm saying? And the truth of what I know is that comes from a place of fear, because if another person could come into your experience and upset the apple cart, like with this Four of Wands, if another person could come into your experience and somehow uproot your foundation, it means that your foundation was weak to begin with, aka Tower card. So it's like literally the Tower in the reverse and the Four of Wands in the reverse. Oh, I hate you, autofocus. Thank you, Jesus. Would actually be speaking to the truth of the matter. It's the fact that the true fear would be that you don't have confidence in the strength of your foundation. And that's really the problem that would need to be addressed, as opposed to projecting that on other people of thinking other people are a danger to you somehow, because they're not. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know, like they say in the Bible, if you build on rock, you know what I'm saying, no matter what storms or, you know, whatever comes along, right? It's like you're not going to be moved. You feel what I'm saying? So that's really what needs to be addressed here in the first 15 days, is like the insecurity that one has in their own foundation. And it's like this whole thing, I call it like, you know, like getting awareness via osmosis. It's like sitting here and waiting, thinking that they're, and I mean, as a Capricorn, come on now, like y'all know work. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it's like a little bit of naivete and a misunderstanding of how this whole thing works, but it's really being fueled from a sense of fear and not wanting to lose what it is that you have. But the truth of the matter is that behaving this way and this fear would make you lose what it is that you have. So it's almost like you would do to yourself what it is that you're afraid someone else would do to you, if that's making sense. I hope and pray that that's making sense, Capricorn. This is so fascinating. Oh my goodness. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Cups. That's dead ass. I'm just saying, oh my God, autofocus. Why do you hate me so much? What did I do to deserve this? We have the Seven of Cups. So that's confusion in decision making. It's like feeling like there's all of these options and not knowing which path to take. But that still takes me back to this Four of Wands in the reverse and the Tower in the reverse. And why I was saying this whole thing in the beginning about projection and your birth chart and all of the things, it's like literally what you're afraid of other people doing to you is what you're inadvertently doing to yourself by keeping yourself stuck in this sensory consciousness, fear of getting effed over type of state of existence. You know what I'm saying? If I can say it that way. It's like the confusion in making a decision, the confusion and not being able to determine if something is in alignment with your higher self or not. comes from an unstable foundation within the self, but it's having this perception of the self as if one's foundation is like goddamn bedrock in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? But if it was, this wouldn't even be a problem in the first place. You feel what I'm saying? I hope and pray that that makes sense. So it's more or less, it's coming back to you. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like if you meet a person who's a liar and you stand for truth, it's like you're gonna see the truth in this person's lies. And when you recognize that, then you just walk away from it, but you can't be swindled. You feel what I'm saying? But I feel like it's a lot of, it's almost like a lot of stuff from the past that's influencing where you guys are now, which once again, I say it's like it's contradicting everything, because it's like, if you know what's in your highest good, right, which would require the higher mind, why would one be operating out of the sensory consciousness? You feel what I'm saying? But all of this makes good sense because you're in this position for a reason, because the whole premise of this is to face oneself. It's like what I'm seeing so far, because you know all the soul sessions follow a central theme for everyone. The thing that I'm seeing clearly so far is everyone being in this particular holding pattern, right? And there being some level of strategy or self-awareness that's, well, self-awareness first, and then a strategy created from that moving forward so that one doesn't end up in similar situations to this again. Why is this so important? Like I've been telling everyone for some time, 2023 is a hella karmic year. And I feel this stuff is coming up because Spirit is really trying to help people out from like kind of shooting yourself in the foot. You feel what I'm saying? So for the first 15 days of December, Cap, there is a level of confusion, but there's a choice that needs to be made. But you guys are coming into the month not making this choice, or ill-informed or misguided on the decision that you're making. And that's where the true confusion is coming from, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I feel that's really what the point of the first 15 days is to stand for something, like pick a side. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, I hope that freaking makes sense, Capricorn. I love how these are coming out. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, I love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends.